trap shit. Sergeant Smack make it backflip. Telly Hank did with the action. With the vital speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews, how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Fall off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby May. Just caught a touchdown from the bay.
We was just moving. We was all over. Hey, we gonna go. It's a tournament over here. You know, run around. You know, Webb. Hey, we're gonna run over here to the projects over there.
Fact.
Yo, real quick, we're gonna run it basically. Just running around. Running around.
You know, Webb, you know, and Nitty, shout out to them, man. I mean, there were some good guys to be around. Well, gotta be careful what I say.
I'm from the Webb and Nitty era.
With the ever-presence of the internet, it seems like every mystery involving hip-hop has been uncovered. But still, in the mid-2020s, there are some that are still only whispered about. I really can't say that I remember it like it was yesterday, but I did try calling my ace who was with me to see if he remembered exactly, though it sounded like he forgot some parts of it too. What the hell? Wasn't we going to get... Was we at B Street?
I don't think so, B.
What's the fucking shit
I think we got it from the Bargain Bazaar.
But I do remember it as one of those moments in life that you'll never forget. By 1995, we were just getting off of really buying albums and had started buying these things called mixtapes. Mainly because we had started to notice that certain artists would release a smash, and us assuming that the entire album sounded the same, we buy it only to find out that it was filled with like B-side type shit. So instead, we would start to buy tapes from these guys with names like S&S or Ron G and this one other guy named Doo-Wop who had like this whole crew with him. But that one particular day, downtown Brooklyn was different because while I remember walking into B Street, while my dog remembers it as us walking into Bargain Bazaar, the part that I'll never forget was hearing that sound that changed everything.
DJ Clue, back again, represent Queens.
I mean, I just had love for music, you know. I mean, growing up, my father, he used to throw a lot of house parties and stuff. Right. He used to DJ a little bit, and my uncle used to DJ, and my father used to sing. So a lot of people, you know what I mean, like don't know about that. But you know, that's where like the musical background came from. And when I was all through high school, man, we used to want to ride, you know, in the car to school, and we used to want to have some dope joints. So we would get like the mixtapes and stuff, and it would be one or two good joints in it, because we used to be in Queens, you know, we was into blends and stuff, you know what I mean? So it was like, you know, it was like, it was R&B acapellas and hip hop beats. So if you heard one or two joints you wanted to rock in the car, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
You know what I mean? You go by the tape. But it would only be two joints, but I wanted a joint with like a whole tape all the way through with nothing but heat on it.
I was going to ask you just about Clue, like what made you decide to give Clue all your stuff first before you give it to anybody? Like even before did you do that before you signed him?
Yeah, even before that, because Clue on the street, Clue was getting people, like you got to figure all the people that Clue broke on his tape, that's, you know, now successful recording artists, all, you know, got videos and stuff and, you know, things out, you know. He broke just about every major artist right now, you know, was first heard on the Clue tape. You know what I'm saying? Like he was so important to hip hop and so important to everything that was going on in New York. Like you could get a deal off a Clue tape. You kill a Clue tape, right? You know what I mean? You on your way to getting a deal. Like Cannabis, that was his first, when he dropped those 150 whatever bars they was on Clue tape. You know, Cameron and DMX, the Get At Me Dog was on Clue. It was a freestyle for Clue. That's how that started out. You know what I mean? And it's actually turned out to be, you know, the record that really catapulted him to being a superstar, you know?
And it just wasn't the fact that he dropped 12 mixtapes in 1995, essentially one for each month of that year. But it was the hundreds of iconic moments that happened when you heard something for the first time, listening to those tapes.
Take me back to the block, to all girls they used to slap rock. So yeah, you chains, Q-Train playing the last stop. Yeah, me dog. DMX, freestyle. MOBB, freestyle. Word up, round up. Cannabis, freestyle. Burn slow like blunts of hydro. Jigga man, BK shit, y'all know.
Yo, niggas don't understand, son. The bullets in they cap and they can't run. Niggas all on top of you, beat you down with handguns.
But besides even being the hottest at that time, he definitely was also the most innovational.
Came in the game and just put it in a smash, B. He's the first person I ever put mixtapes on CDs. Clue. Yeah, I started first recording CDs. I used to record CDs like real time, like, you know what I mean? Like, I used to do like 10 of them, stay up all night and just to do 10 CDs, you know what I'm saying? Go out there, but they was more expensive than the cassettes, so a blank CD was like $7 to $8 back then. I first debuted there at the Black Expo. And I was selling mixed CDs, and then people was like astonished by it, like they're going crazy for him.
So he rose from nowhere to become the hottest mixtape DJ in the world for the most part. Likely, he'll go down as the most innovative mixtape DJ for taking the product from cassette to CD. But what's not known to most people, he was backed by two of the biggest alleged gangsters left in Queens after indictments had swept the borough clean.
Webb, Nitty. It's Uncle Joe, don't wear Supreme in jeans. Came up with Nitty and Webb, I knew Supreme in Queens.
Rep Queens like Supreme, ass Webb and Nitty. Core weapon and core Nitty. Queens niggas and it's all hoodies. Kidnapping them rob niggas.
Me and Mano had beef.
Mano
when Mano came home.
Why you got beef with Mano, B?
Let me tell you, when Mano came home, me and Mano's way to get on was I'ma extort every DJ. I'ma extort every DJ out there.
Right.
So at the time, I used to carry a little tutu in my shoe. That was my thing. Like, you know, if I had problems, I carry my own beef. I had a little tutu in my shoe. So I remember Mano coming to every DJ, smacking DJs, choking DJs, threatening. Mano was a beast. When Mano came, he was an animal.
Right.
So I knew his story already. So I said, it's just a matter of time before we connect. Matter of time. So one night, I'm in the club. Mano comes to me, yo, you gonna play my record? So I act like, I'm a Queens nigga, light-skinned nigga. Who are you?
Right.
What you mean you don't know who the f*** I am? Who are you? So me and Mano get into an argument, right? And me and Mano about to get into it now. At the time, Mano just had a jail, so Mano's diesel as shit. I'm skinny. This is before I started boxing. I'm like, Mano about to knock me out, but you know, I'm trying to slip my shoe off to get my gun on my shoe. And Webb from Webb and Nitty, that with Clue and Desert Storm and used to manage Joe Buttons in the day. He came. He was in the club and stopped him.
Yeah, stand with him.
Y'all can all stand over there and be wrong.
Yeah, word. Y'all be wrong together.
Webb and Nitty era.
Now.
Not only was Webb and Nitty a major force behind DJ Clue, a play they would use to secure legitimate business deals, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but they also would have an influence over an online personality that y'all might have heard mention them maybe once or twice.
Listen, I'm from the Webb and Nitty era. I always say the Webb and Nitty era. The Webb and Nitty era. The Webb and Nitty era. I remember him looking at me like, who's this kid? Like, he had them people around, but Webb held me down. That's not the only time Webb held me down. He held me down at Hollis. My first trains, doing a couple of things, me understanding how the street works, and my first pistol with these individuals. But when I spoke to Webb, he sat me outside. Everybody remember it was on the Coliseum 2 times. He had a big wad of money, gave me a knot of money. Everybody was on the Ave and saw it. Yo, go buy yourself some sneakers, TJ. Stay out of trouble, man. Flip, stay out of trouble, man. Be yourself. That stuck with me. Be yourself. Do what you gotta do. Came to my crib, sat outside. He played a song I always remember. Don't bring that to my party. Don't bring that. He was playing a song and he was telling me, like, I never want you to follow nobody. Don't follow none of these dudes out here. You got a good mom, a good home. You making yourself be like this. Those stuff stuck in my head, so now when I came up there and I looked up to this man, hearing people shout him out, hearing everybody talk about him, I'm like, yo, this man was close to me. He's my family. He's my cousin. He took care of me.
Now I'm outside with Webb, Nitty. We just moving. Rest in peace, Bo. The guys. I mean, I don't want to go through the guys. You just moving. It's now more exposure. Remember earlier I talked about meeting people from different walks of life? So now I'm exposed to just people from a different walk of life. So we are moved. Now I'm in a vehicle now. That's what I mean. We are in cars, traveling, seeing the town, soaking all of that in. That's what I mean.
So Webb and Nitty bring you around to different networking situations.
We was just moving. We was all over. Hey, we gonna go. It's a tournament over here. Run around. You know, Webb. Hey, we're gonna run over here to the projects over there.
Fact.
Yo, real quick, we're gonna run and basically just running around. Running around.
You know, Webb, you know, and Nitty, shout out to them, man. I mean, there were some good guys to be around. Well, gotta be careful what I say, because I don't want my phone to ring. Yeah, okay. All right. They were good guys to be around, meaning, like, people liked them, and some of them did it. Oh, yeah. Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I had no idea about none of that.
So I met Nitty. I was a teenager, early teen, but Webb and Nitty, you know, they were locked up together and they met in jail. That's how they met. So when Nitty came home, that's when I met Nitty.
Just paid him full shit? Like,
no bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to be funny.
I know, man.
Like, but dead ass, yeah. Wow. So if we really want to, yeah. And when he came home, that's when I met him. And I got really, obviously, like, really tight with Nitty through, but, you know, the introduction was through Webb.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Ty was a little younger than us. So he was always running around. And then at that time, when Nitty came home, Ty was already in. Ty got locked up again.
Mikey was locked up. Did Mikey get locked up at the time? Because Mikey got locked up from the situation.
Right. So remember, he got locked up and he came home. Remember, he got banged up and then he got locked up again. Him and Ty.
Yeah.
And then that was that.
When did Webb come to you about doing the On Top thing? Was that before you got with Def Jam?
Yeah. Around the same time.
So tell us how the conversation came, if you can remember, if you could be.
It was like, I think Nitty came up with the name. Like, he's like, yo, we fucking, because I'm like, I think at the time, I'm like, just fucking, nigga, we do all this shit together. He's like, nigga, we gonna do we do everything together, but I'm gonna have my own shit too. On top, so I'll buy you Nitty's. Like, you know, a lot of people on the Nitty's could be funny. You want a chain? I'm like, no, fucking like, about that shit. So he's like, we're gonna do our On Top shit. All right, fuck it. Sign through your production company, your label, and then I'll do the deal. You know what I mean? Obviously, and then we did, like, you know, Dead Storm at the time was an imprint on it, but it was through On Top, Webb and Nitty shit, and then I signed it to Def Jam.
Really? And how did he get Joe Budden? How did?
No, because of that. So they had Joe Budden signed to them. Like they pieced Joe off. You're gonna sign to us, and yeah, that's how it worked. They did, but that's what you gotta do. You can't have niggas, you don't sign your life away for nothing. So they gave him some cash, you know what I mean, paid, cut him a check, whatever the fuck it was. He signed to their company. Terry was a partner with them at the time. Terry Corley, Ducky's wife, and then she, the rest is history.
But how did Webb get Joe Budden? Did he ever tell you how you got him?
Through C. Oh, you know why I'm bugging? You know why I'm bugging right now. I'm thinking we spoke about this. We didn't. Through Cutmaster C. So C had Joe's CD in the car. Like I said, C's got 1 million tapes in his fucking cars because that's what he does. He puts out CDs. Someone gave to him Webb just running through music. Webb was always into music. So he's just listening, literally like doing some A&R shit. He's listening to records while he's fucking around with C. And he heard Joe and he's like, oh shit, I gotta play this for Skane. And then he hit me like, yo, where you at? I'm like, I don't know, I think I was in the city or Jersey. Come around the way. I went around the way. And I heard this shit and I was like, oh shit. Who the fuck is this? There's this kid from fucking Jersey. I think he's homeless. Like, I'm like, homeless? Like, yeah, I don't know. But he's fucking ill, right? Like, I'm like, yeah, well, I'm gonna go meet him. And that's how the shit started. And Webb just like, Webb moves quick.
He does.
Wait, so it was like, he was in Queens. I blinked my eyes. The motherfucker was in Queens, and I'm like, he's like, this is what I'm doing, and we're gonna do this. And Nitty's like, we're gonna do this shit together. But I'm gonna, you know what I mean? I'm gonna make sure. And he was right. You want to make sure you're straight. So he's like, I'm gonna get my business right. And I'm gonna have my own shit. And he's smart. He's smart. Nitty, probably one of my smartest friends. Period. And I'm talking about book smart, not just street smart. Extremely intelligent. A lot of people don't know that. I used to always catch Nitty, and it wasn't like in a bookstore. When we traveled, Nitty was always reading books. And when we go, there was a newspaper, and if he didn't have one, he would stop and he'd grab the paper and he's reading and reading and reading. And every time we flew, he was reading and reading and reading, and it got me into that. Nitty and my man, I started that shit. Nitty had me reading books a lot. And then I stopped for a while, and then my daughter's godfather, George, he got me like back into books. And then I stopped again. But Nitty was every fucking chance he got. Like, he would spend his days in Barnes and Nobles. And that might be because of the jail shit, you know what I'm saying? I don't know where it came from. But he read and he read and he read. Any spare time, he was always reading. Couldn't pass a newspaper.
I remember seeing Nitty, he's supposed to be street smart. I remember seeing Nitty late at night on Linden and Farmers across the street from that bank right on Linden in the dark. Some crazy shit. I never forget it. It plays in my mind. I said, what's up? What are you doing here? He said, yeah, what's up? Just standing there. Very, very different guy. Smart.
Extremely different. Like, I've had Nitty, like, when no one knew my whereabouts, like, I'd be in the city and walk up on me, and I don't know if it was like happenstance, but like, and then I'm looking at him like, this guy looks familiar, and then not realizing it's him, he's like, what's up? Who the fuck you just come from? Like, he was dead ass a ghost.
Exactly.
Where Skane describes Nitty as a ghost, and I'll throw Webb into that conversation too, I'm gonna go a step further and call them the boogeyman. And the time when the entire world seems like they're connected, it's nearly impossible to find social media or any recent pictures of Nitty or Webb besides from the date that Webb was recently released from prison. Searching online, you could see them referred to as anywhere from the new Supreme Team or former Supreme Team members, or even as the Queen's BMF. And like I said, in a day and age where you can find information on anybody, especially someone that was a high-powered record exec, even those behind one-hit wonders, Nitty and Webb are just names. So think about it like this. These two would emerge from the shadows of the streets and had a situation where Desert Storm and their artists were signed under them and on top through Def Jam, yet you still can't find them. And the only evidence of their presence is really the On Top label's logo appearing alongside Def Jam's on their artist releases. And when I thought about it, through the artists they are still connected to and the roster that they once had that was headlined by Fabulous alongside his brother Paul Kane and a young Joe Buttons, Ransom and Hitchcock, who will form the 18, even younger Stack Bundles, along with them being often referenced to as the people who would help fund the career of an up-and-coming Nicki Minaj, it raises the question of what could have been. Because in my personal opinion, with that lineup at that particular time, that has to be the second biggest what-if story in hip-hop history to me, only behind the highly anticipated commission, which was supposed to include the Notorious Big, Jay-Z, and if I remember correctly, Charlie Baltimore. Now, someone I'm close to who was actually locked up with both of them would mention that he was incarcerated with Webb during adolescence, and he believed that Nitty and Webb met there, eventually going on to make history together. Seeming they had ties to the streets from the beginning, he would also recount a story of how Webb had an older brother who was possibly involved with the streets and would go missing at some point, with his family only being able to find his teeth. Webb is also the older brother of Fly Ty, a big wig at Epic and a somewhat Atlanta socialite. Now Fly Ty's name recently came up alongside his brother Webb in a discussion by Mikey B, Fly Ty's co-defendant, who was also referenced earlier by Queen's Flip. Mikey B having recently starting a YouTube channel after serving 25 years to share his stories and those of others.
I had to make sure y'all hear this from my mouth, because he's from my block. That's my block, and he was my co-defendant. Right? Webb got shot 2 times in the head in Atlanta. Ain't do nothing. How gangster is that? Ty got shot all kind of times in Atlanta and robbed 4 to 5 times in Atlanta and ain't do nothing. How gangster is that? Right? How gangster is that? Give me a little while, bro. How gangster is that? You heard? Right? How gangster is that, bro? Dudes ain't up here talking about my case, my stuff, because I ain't telling nobody. I kept it real. I kept it solid with the streets the whole way. You see what I'm saying? But these dudes are flipped. A lot of dudes flipped on me because of money. A lot of dudes flipped on me because I ain't come home. I was in the jail. I did the most time of my whole crew. I did 25 years, so I ain't have the bag. I didn't come home with the bag. You see what I'm saying? Dudes that could have gave me the bag, they did it because they supported the rats.
Mikey B would later appear to retract his statement somewhat, seeming to take most of the responsibility while placing most of the blame on himself, saying he had put the younger Fly Ty in a situation that he didn't belong in. Many people online would view this as an attempt to tarnish Webb's name after his release, similar to what some believe that went on with a situation that we covered involving Big Meech. But what do y'all feel about it? The newfound rumors surrounding them only seem to add to the mystery and the allure of 2 figures that would be nearly impossible not to mention when discussing Queens during the post-Supreme Team era, the Webb and Nitty era during the late 1990s and the early 2000s. Now, y'all make sure y'all hit the red bell and subscribe button right under this video so y'all know when this real trill spill shit is dropping. Y'all get in the comment box below. Y'all let me know what cities we need to go to, what stories we need to tell, what we missed, what we got wrong, all of that. Y'all make sure y'all tapping with me directly. Instagram, Twitter, POP_A_LOT. And until the next play, y'all know how we rocking. Shades Popalot. Salute the almighty mob.